Okay, so welcome back to Back Garden Vegetables for Beginners. This is episode 6, I think. Today we're going to be getting some soil into the garden, and we got soil ages ago before any of this really kicked off and before the lockdown started. So we'll show you a wee video now. On, thank you. So that was straightforward enough, and luckily we did get that before things went a wee bit crazy. I'm not sure how you guys are getting on if you're trying to get stuff where you are. It's probably more difficult. But the internet should still be able to provide you with things. I tried to order a wheel off the internet for the wheelbarrow, which we're going to need to move all this soil. I thought it would be straightforward. It did come, and you have to say, like, these people that are out there delivering things, that's a massive job for people still to be doing for not a lot of money when all the rest of us are allowed to be tucked up in our house. So we got the wheel within a week, but then this happened. It came with only one spacer, so I tried my hand at making one. I needed a saw to cut the middle out of the old wheel, but I didn't have a saw. I did have a jigsaw. And a drill. And some determination. And, of course, safety goggles. Oh, and a hoover. I needed the hoover too. Ta-da! Rather complicated problem solved, but we've got a wheelbarrow with a wheel, so let's move this soil and get the garden into some shape so we can start planting a lot more stuff. Okay, so we've got our soil in and we've divvied it up, not just into these 3 beds, but also into pots that you can see around everywhere, so it'll be ready for later and I don't have to worry about trying to get more, because this is all the soil we've got. It's actually quite a lot and it should give us a good bit of growing space. First thing to do though is decide what's going where, and then put some dung in the bits that are going to need dung and leave the other bits that don't. You'll be able to see in this one, I should have got my phone ready, shouldn't I have prepped this up, but this one, I found a couple of bits of slate that were lying about the garden here. There you go. And I've put them in as a divider because I'm going to put dung in almost all of this round here to improve it just that little bit extra. But I don't want dung in the bits where the root vegetables are going, because that just encourages them to grow everywhere rather than down searching the nutrients. They'll just be like, oh, and they'll just start spreading out where they are. So I've put a divider in there. I'll put a wee bit of dung in that back half because that's going to be peas, and then possibly beans in behind it. Same along these walls here, and the front are going to be leafy veg and different things that we'll be eating that are off our very extensive list of things we're going to grow. So first things first, let's get some dung and let's do some of the dirty work. And I'm going to employ a technique that one of the best gardeners I know uses. Well, no, the best gardener I know, I should say. That's Norman Smith. Norman won the St Mungo's Cup in Glasgow. I've made a wee documentary about it actually. Norman's lovely and his allotment is incredible. And he digs trenches and he puts this in. And the idea of digging a trench is that it'll then go and search out the nutrients, and it'll encourage greater growth of the roots, and then when they need it most, they'll have made it there and they'll have got the nutrients they want. So, let's just get this, and we don't need to dig here, but I will just use my hands. So the sun's decided to come out. That's a good thing. Oh. There's a lovely amount of worms in there, so that's going to be incredible. And I'll just do the same with all of them. I'm digging one half, putting a layer of dung 2/3 of the way down, covering it over, and then just doing the same with the other half, and then all the way around with them. But beetroot and carrot are going to go in here. As always, read the back of the label. So mid-March to July, that's us. We're in Manchester, so we're going at the end of March, so that seems about right. If you're further up the road, go a wee bit later. Carrots, I think it's the same. March, April, May, outside. I would normally sow mine in about a week's time in Glasgow, so that's why I'm going for it down here just now. They want to be 30 centimetres between each row, and they're both about 1.5 centimetres, 2 centimetres deep. Now, if you don't know what this guy is, we should look here. It's like a Japanese hand sickle. You can get them on the internet. They're great for weeding. They're great for working the ground. It's just, if you're only going to have one tool, it's a really handy tool to have. We just have to get this soil nice and fine. That's where this tool comes in. As well as being good for weeds, it'll just go in and chop the soil up, and there you go. So that when we go to plant these seeds in, we're planting them in a really fine mixture. I should say watch out though, because they are incredibly sharp. So be careful, there's some stones. You don't want your carrots in stones. It doesn't matter. If you want that authentic homegrown carrot look, leave some stones in, because the wonky carrots are the ones that hit something and then have to divert their path. If I come back round this way, that might make life easier. These drills are supposed to be about 30 centimetres apart. Again, we're growing in improved compost soil here. So you can, 30 centimetres is good for pests and growth, but for nutrients we can probably afford, in the joys of raised beds, putting things just a little bit closer than the guidelines say. So we're going to do, and again, watch this. They want it to be 1.5 to 2 centimetres deep. Boom, seed row. Look at that. I'll show you that on the close-up, which we've still been recording here. My new fancy watering can that came off the internet. Give those drills a good soak. That'll really help. So you can see that now. And the key there, once you've soaked it, is just to let it drain away. And you can also give it a second soak if you want. So that's us now, ready just to drop these carrot seedlings in. Remember, we're going to be thinning them out, but if you can just roll them out of your fingers, now they're going too thickly here, then that's ideal. These are little stumpy carrots. I think I was going with what I thought would work best. Some golden beetroot here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 8 in there. I know I said I was going to do 2 rows of beetroots, but I didn't pay attention to how many beetroots I had, so that'll be 1 row of beetroots. But we can leave that space for beetroots again. Now, I'll mark this row before I do anything. There we go. Is it? Oh, I've got manual focus on, don't I? Let's change that to autofocus center. So, in theory, we've now split it in such a way that we can just write on the wood inside. Maybe. So that's it, really. We've done that. Just cover them up. Nice and firm. We've got our lines where they are. And because our seed numbers were a wee bit wrong, we'll leave this one in here until later. But we've marked out the 2 where they are. And that's our beetroot and carrots in. Just keep them wet. I'm also going to throw some perpetual spinach in the front. Just here. Doo-doo. Right along here. Now, when we were worrying about the dung earlier on, we don't need to worry about it when it comes to perpetual spinach. Even though it's a beet and a beetroot family, the dung will just make the leaves grow bigger and greener. That's what we don't want on the beetroots, but when it comes to the perpetual spinach, that's definitely what we do want. Water. Fill it up and then just wait till it drains away. That'll do. Mark that one off at the end. As we wait for that water to drain away, I'm going to use these guys here just as an experiment to plant my mustard seed in. Some people just use them as a green manure and they're good for that, but for me, I love eating them. They're great in salad, they're great in soups, stews, they just give you that wee tangy mustardy flavour. And you don't get them in the shops, which is another good reason to grow things. And these are the same, just get them a couple of centimetres down, get them covered over. That's too many, as always. Just one. I'll thin these out later to just be one in a pot, but we'll pick the best one. So use that wee trick of just poking them in and smoothing it over. And in there with that. We'll see how they do. Right, back to this one. It's all drained away, we think. We dropped our seeds down here. We'll get them back. Now you'll notice when I was saying they're all part of the same family, if you look at this here, you'll start to recognise them as looking just like the beetroot seeds and also just like the chard seeds because it's all the one family. But I'll put this in, we'll drop these in here. Don't know if this is working, but you guys know the drill by now. Put that in here, put that in there, put that in there, put that in there, put that in there, put that in there. Maybe one short. Chuck another 2 in just in case they fail, then we can deal with that later. And again, we'll keep the strongest plants if these come up alright and thin them out, but we can eat what comes before then, so there's no loss. That's it, good bit of planting done. Okay, so I think that'll do. That's not too bad. We got beetroot in, some carrots in, some perpetual spinach in, and some mustard greens, and we've prepared these beds for later. I hope you guys are growing along at home. I've noticed while talking to people and searching that it's becoming increasingly difficult to, I'm still waiting for seeds and they're ordered over a week ago. I think there's just such a rush on and so many things have shut down. It's getting increasingly difficult to get compost. You can make do without compost in these things. Just get your soil nice and fine for seedlings and that'll work. The compost obviously helps, but as long as the soil's nice and fine and the seedlings don't get lost in a big clump, then that's the main thing. I have started a Facebook page called Back Garden Vegetables for Beginners. There's quite a few people being nice and friendly on there, so come on if you're doing gardening where you are, show us some pictures of that and we can all maybe hopefully help each other through this. God, that sun is bright. Until then, look after yourselves, stay safe, and I'll see you next time in the garden.